Hello to anyone here and anyone not here. I am simply trying to test something out. Um, Hi, Trance. Hello. Oh, all right. Whoever is here, this is literally, I'm trying to test something. So if you can let me know, can you hear me normally? Can you see me normally? Because I have a plan. Uh, hi, everybody. Do you guys hear me? Okay, perfect, Jim. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'm doing something new. As you can see, I am using StreamYard, and now I can highlight your comments. See, like Will. Um, and now I don't have to use my phone, so I get my phone. Perfect. Thank you. Fantastic. Eduardo, week has been interesting. So I'm actually, the reason I'm doing this, I wasn't planning to do a live today, but I had to test it out because I'm going to show you guys what I'm planning to do. You know how I do market updates? I don't want to record them anymore. Not that I'm not going to do them, but what I want to do, I'll show you guys just as a test. Let's see if this works. And you tell me if you see it. Hold up. Do you guys see the split screen yet? By any chance? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, perfect. So you can see the screen. So now I have to just figure out how this whole thing works. So this is my Sonar dashboard. What I am planning to do is on Thursdays or Fridays or whenever the hell I have the time to do a market update. What the hell is happening with my computer? Blurry. Okay, yeah, it is a little bit blurry. I don't know how to. Hold on. Let me show you guys something. Okay. Trucking authorities. It is blurry. Yeah, I agree. It is blurry. How do I make it unblurry? Oh, why is this so difficult? um, yeah, so it is blurry. Shoot. Hey guys, hey everyone. So basically what I'm planning to do is I want to do lives for the market updates, and whoever's interested in joining, that way I can answer questions as they come along. Like what you're looking at right now, I'm sure you can see it, carrier details, 723 net loss of carriers. Now I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I did not write up the market update this week yet. I don't know if I'll be able to, but this is my plan going forward. So yeah, let me stop sharing this somehow. Stop screen. There we go. All right, now we can do this. This is the coolest thing. Will Hunting, what app are you using to stream? I am using StreamYard. See, someone's saying talk louder. I can't talk any louder than I am right now. So you guys let me know. Can you hear me well, or is it kind of muffled, or what's going on? Is it a good time to become owner operator in 2025? Yeah, let's turn this into a question and answer for now while I try to figure out StreamYard, because it's very, very difficult for me. Technology and I are not friends. Is it a good time to become an owner operator in 2025? I don't know. We're going to have to see what happens in 2025. There's so many different possibilities. Right now, we can see capacity is leaving in pretty high numbers. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Although I do have to admit that it's been a little bit easier booking loads right now, even for flatbeds. Um, Not blurry on phone. Maybe it gets blurry on a larger screen. Okay, awesome. That's BS. You can do it. What can I do? I forgot. What can I do? What was I trying to do? I hear you loud and proud. Awesome. Thank you. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Um, Hear you same as always. Thank you, guys. Amazon workers on strike, FYI. Interesting. I did not hear anything about it. But then again, I have been living under a rock for the past week or so. um, Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you guys, because really, me and technology, we don't get along. So anything new that I'm not sure of, I get very nervous. Hi, what's the next step after DOT? Is it a California number? How do I get a California number? Yeah, if you're a California carrier, you do need a California number. Send me an email. I'll send you the link where to get it. You have to fill it out by hand, at least the last time I checked, and then you mail it back to them. Hi, ma'am. What seems to be trucking in 2025? Well, currently, I made a video yesterday where I asked you guys, what do you think about tariffs? Is it a boom or a bust for a boost or bust for trucking? And there were a lot of mixed opinions. So if the tariffs actually happen, I don't know. Different people look at it in different ways. It could be either something really great for trucking or it could be something not so great for trucking. It's really a wait and see situation. Hi, Jeffrey. I'm shopping for ELD, worse than going to DMV. I have always used Motive Keep Trucking. I like Motive Keep Trucking. Hello. Hi, Ian. Thank you. Check your refresher rate. What is a refresher rate? Wait, I think I saw something. No, I don't know. What is a refresher rate? Too many trucks out here. Rates will hurt you no good. Yeah, still too many trucks, unfortunately, but capacity is leaving. I shared the screen before. We lost something like almost 1,000 carriers 2 weeks ago net. Then we lost 13 carriers net last week, and now we lost another 700 some carriers net. Thank you, Sal. And that's a tricky question since the market is uncertain. 100%, yeah, for sure. Predicting 2025 is very, very difficult, especially considering that there is a new administration coming in and there's going to be, I mean, there are going to be some changes, right? So I don't know. I really don't know what is going to happen. So wait and see. I don't know if I should highlight this comment. um, Your video coloration looks weird. You know what it is? It's my webcam because I usually stream on my phone and now I have to use a webcam. Otherwise, it doesn't connect for some reason. So that's why I look like a ghost, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Okay. Hey, I'm starting up my company starting January 2025. We have one truck doing power only. Which broker load board would you recommend I start with? Thank you. Power only, I think DAT is your best bet in terms of load boards. As far as I know, last time I checked, TQL still works with new authorities, but I do not work with TQL because they're great for new authorities, but they end up eventually, one way or another, they're going to throw you under the bus. I'm too loud. Okay. Yeah. See, I was going to ask. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. Hey guys. Hey, hello, hello. No worries. Hi, Jason. Does Charlotte, North Carolina have lots of flatbed loads or has it become oversaturated also? We have not been in North Carolina in a while, in a very, very long while. Last time we were there was before the hurricane. So it's been a very, very long time. When self-driving trucks come about, will the major carriers still outsource to independent contractors or will they just run in-house self-driving trucks? I don't think we're going to see self-driving trucks being replacing humans, at least not anytime soon. There are too many regulations. They're not going to allow that to happen, in my opinion. So I think that the jobs are more or less safe, at least from the self-driving trucks. Refresher rate, how often your screen refreshes the video quality. I have no idea, you guys. I don't know what the refresher rate is. Do you have any experience with oil field trucking? I do not. I have experience with reefers, flatbeds, step decks, and dry vans, but mostly reefers, dry vans, and flatbeds. Jimmy, Trump's team will address cabotage and other key issues in 2025. Fuel prices set to drop as well. We'll see. I mean, I'm curious to see what 2025 brings. Sorry, guys, I'm like looking over because I can't see past my microphone. My setup sucks right now. Everything is like it's like a Tasmanian devil came here. Like that. What is it called? What's his name? That cartoon? Yeah, it's like he's been through this office. It's a mess. Hello, thanks for the Q&A today. Sure thing. I mean, I love Q&As. I was planning to just test my theory of whether I can do live market updates this way. And yeah. I think tariffs will positively impact the trucking industry. Yeah, I mean, there are so many opinions on that, at least judging by my last video and reading the comments. Mm. I do my best to research news for sure. American Dave. Oh, I see. um, do you use load connect or something similar? I do use a load board extension as of 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it makes me faster. It makes everything much easier. It calculates the rate per mile with deadhead included. So yes, I did start using a load extension. Hi, AGJ. uh, I'd like to know how carriers feel about dealing with AI voice agents instead of a person. Um, I read an article a few days ago about how there's a possibility of brokers getting replaced by AI. I have a hard, okay, this is like it's a difficult question to answer because on one hand, it's easier to deal with a computer that just logically spits out a number like Uber. I remember when we used to use Uber years ago. It was really easy to negotiate with a computer because there were some presets and it could negotiate only to a certain point, and after that, you had to speak with a person. But that's easy in terms of emotionally. In terms of actually getting a good rate, it's easier to speak with a person, at least on the broker side, because with a person, you can appeal to their better nature or whatever it's called. You're not too loud. Okay, I'm glad. American Dave, Trump's mass deportation operation will affect not only the trucking industry, but it will also affect the supply chain and logistics industry in general. Cap space will be reduced because of it. Yeah, see, there are a lot of different thoughts and opinions about how this will be affected. Stay away from truck stop. Deadhead mileage is wrong and has screwed me bad. Yes, that is actually bad. That is actually very true. Truck stop miles are incorrect. They can be off by 100 miles sometimes. This is something that started happening about, for us at least, it started happening 6 months ago. But I always double check the miles on Google Maps. So be careful. Schneider, Amazon are good brokers to start hauling power only for to the person who asked. There we go. Thank you, Eduardo. Um, Omar, hi Miranda, I need a job. Can you hook it up? Not at this time. Check in with me in a couple of months. Send me an email. Um, Getting ready to do an in-frame on my 96 W900. Hopefully we'll get another million miles out of it. Fingers crossed. Are motive cards even that good? Their discounts are low from what I see, but that 1% is a bonus. I've never used the motive fleet card. I've used only motive as an ELD provider. I actually declined using their fleet card because I much prefer the RTS fuel card. I really, really enjoy it. So I am not sure in terms of what kind of discounts they offer. Now, this is a loaded question. What is the trucking industry future in Pakistan? Unfortunately, I don't know. I get a lot of questions from Canadian carriers to make the same market updates for Canada. I can't even do that. So I'm sticking to the US at the moment. I'm sorry, I couldn't be of more help. Did you watch the podcast Dennis Panev with owner broker 411? Your thoughts? I have not. So I do watch his channel. He is Ukrainian, I believe, right? Alvil Trucking. I really enjoy the insight he gives. He has an English version as well as a Russian version. But I have not watched that particular one. I will check it out. Any fuel card recommendations? I'm looking at NASTC. I use RTS and I really, really enjoy RTS. Yeah, we tried to use TCS at one point, but I didn't like it as much. I also have another app downloaded. It's called Mudflap. I'm sure you guys know it, which shows you the cheapest fuel. But so far, nothing that I have seen has beaten RTS in terms of the discounts. Um, do you think the market will be back to normal soon or maybe in 7 months? I think that it all depends on capacity. The volume is a really big question mark for me at the moment, just like for many of you. A lot of people don't know what is going to happen with volume. Right now, volume is doing something weird. I am actually going to share my screen so you guys can see, since I have this awesome ability now. Sonar. Okay, share. So you're going to see in just a second. Let's go to volumes and rejections. All right. So do you see? Hold on. It's loading for some reason. I don't know why it's not. So do you see this chart, the top chart? The volume right now, right here, is much lower than it should be. I mean, compared to 2023 levels. So yeah, volume is a big question mark for me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. There we go. Volume is a big question mark for me at the moment. In terms of capacity, it seems like it is exiting in bigger numbers. Again, almost 1,000 carriers net left 2 weeks ago, then 13 carriers net left, and now 700 something. Thank you, only Alex. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. um, let's see, where was I? So on, let's see. There we go. I agree tariffs will be good thing for the country and economy. Got it. So you think it's going to boost the trucking industry. That's what Craig Fuller believes. He believes, and I agree with him with the fact that if there is full cycle manufacturing happening in the US, it is going to cause more volume because all of that has to be like every part of the manufacturing process is going to have to be moved by truck. The question, my big question, is the transitionary period, and is it even possible, and how painful will that transition be? Basically, I have a lot of questions. Where can I find your email? So it is under every video, but I'm going to post it here as well. It's talkabouttrucking@gmail.com. Did I post? It's yeah, okay. So I posted it in the chat. uh I did not fully understand this comment. We need border security. Can't wait for $2 a gallon diesel. That would be great. I remember when it was something around that when COVID hit. Less than two. Let's see. Um, I had RTS Pro for a few years now. Yeah, I really, really like RTS. Estee, what fuel card do you recommend? It's RTS. RTS. Shoot me an email. It's actually, I have them in my signature as well. I really, really like RTS. I, again, used TCS once, didn't like it, but I use RTS. And then my guys, they also have, and I have the Mud Flap app. It just shows you the cheapest fuel around because RTS, from what I remember, they do not work with TA. They work with, they don't work with Loves either. So Mudflap and RTS together, it kind of gives you a good idea of where to refuel for the cheapest price. If I drove for you, would you get mad if I wore sandals? I am Gomez Adams. I never controlled. I find it, I mean, I'm not that type of person. I could never control what a person wears. For me, the main thing is safety. Yeah, I cannot see myself getting mad about that. I had RTS and now use TVC. Much better discounts with TVC and Loves and TA Petro versus RTS with Pilot Flying J. True. So RTS actually, something I love about them is that they have a network of the tiny little refueling stations, and I really, really enjoy that because the discounts of the tiny ones are pretty darn good. Okay, so Tool Danny is asking, can anyone recommend me companies who run East and West Coast and pay well? If anybody knows. Oh, I'm sorry. I completely misunderstood your question. My question is about US trucking industry that people are managing from Pakistan. So what's your opinion about that? Is it going to increase or not? How are people managing a trucking company from Pakistan? You mean dispatching from Pakistan? Or actually living in Pakistan and opening up an LLC here? Because for LLC, I believe you have to be here. In terms of dispatching, if you're asking about dispatching, yeah, there are a lot of companies that dispatch US-based carriers from all over the world. Dispatching is, it's dependent on the market in terms of supply and demand. On one hand, when there are a lot of carriers, you can have a lot of clients potentially, but on the other hand, if there are a lot of carriers and not enough loads, it's going to cause the rates to go down. I hope I answered your question. I didn't fully understand what do you mean they run a business from Pakistan here. Um, do, 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 do. Hi, what is the price range for low miles box trucks with minimal downtime breakdown chances? Similar pricing estimates for reefers, flatbeds, and dry vans will be appreciated as well. Okay, again, box trucks, not my forte, but reefers, flatbeds, and dry vans. Price range for low miles box trucks with minimum downtime break. You mean prices, like what kind of rate per mile you can get? Usually, if I'm understanding you correctly, it doesn't matter which kind of equipment you have. And I'm speaking about reefers, flatbeds, and dry vans. The lower the miles, the higher the rate per mile usually. Um, but yeah, if you could just, what is it called? Clarify your question. Um, Thanks, Eduardo. Awesome. What is the lowest rate per mile you'd accept, and what's the market average right now? Today, I booked a load with deadhead $3, 12 miles. This was just a short load that paid high gross, going to a crap area. And then I booked a $2, hold on, $2 $2.40 load as well. Also shorter miles, but with tarps. In terms of the lowest rate per mile, I would take currently our cost per mile, it changes constantly. Our cost per mile is averaging right now $1.80, but I cannot see myself booking at the cost per mile ever because yeah, I don't know. It depends on the situation. So what I do usually, I have learned to slowly but surely control my panic booking. So, what I end up doing is if I'm in a bad market, like today we were in a bad market, I will wait. And usually there is going to be a load that comes out that maybe goes to a bad area, but for a good rate per mile. And then what we have also been doing a lot of is deadheading lately. Yeah. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. Can you guys hear me again? Let me know. Hmm. Yeah, should be working. Um, mhm. Thank you, only Alex. uh, Oops. There we go. Do you have a CDL? I do not have a CDL. No. I was yeah, I don't think I used to want to get it, but I'm so terrified of semi trucks, to be quite honest, of the height. It's not the semi truck by itself, it's the height. I have a problem with that. Cooper, brokers are just, we'll call them silly. Taking a big margin out of the toll rate makes even small and medium sized carriers working directly with shippers and customers. For a lot of them, it works great. Yeah, brokers definitely take a lot. Um, Uh, why RTS? For me, the most important thing is good customer service. I need to be able to get a hold of someone when I have a question because I always have a ton of questions. Their system is very, very easy to use. They have good discounts. I use them for factoring and I use them for the fuel card. And I have never had an issue with them. I have had an easy time negotiating with them. So, like factoring rates, they're always there. If I have a problem, if I have a question, they answer it right away. For me, this customer service and being able to understand what I'm dealing with is a priority. Number two is, of course, the rates are good. They work for us. Um, RTS keeps harassing me. You may have sold me. I'll have to look into their fuel card. Yeah, take a look. They have a pretty cool system as well, where you can plan your route depending on where you pick up and deliver the load, and you are able to actually do something. I forgot what was I going to say. I'm so sorry. I just had a brain fart. Oh yeah, you're actually able to pre-plan where you're going to refuel. I am so sorry. I worked for 5 years in trucking as a dispatcher in Toronto, Canada. Dispatchers get mental stress and drivers get physical stress. We took gym loads from Toronto to Laredo round trip. Being a dispatcher is definitely, there are a lot of misconceptions about being a dispatcher. Drivers, I would argue that they also have a lot of mental stress. I think even more so than dispatchers, but I agree with you. Being a dispatcher, especially in a tough market, especially when there's pressure on you and you're looking at the load board and the person you're dispatching is not looking at the load board and they have an idea that oh no, there must be this kind of rate, and you're looking at it and nothing is coming out. Yeah, it can be stressful, but I would argue that folks who especially drive for weeks, months at a time, they probably have much more stress, mental and physical. Do you have flip-flops drivers working in your company? I have two business partners. They're both part of my family. And I have hired Americans. I had an amazing, one of my favorite, I think it's wrong to say this. If you're watching, you know who you are. Um, but probably he's not watching. One of my favorite people, he is a veteran. He was absolutely amazing. I still keep in contact with him. Probably the best human being, an incredible driver. The work ethic was insane. Yeah, he was amazing. Yeah, but no, none of our folks wore flip flops, Timberlands or whatever they're called, boots. uh, we update loads and write our website. Can a virtual office be registered for motor carrier authority? Interesting question. So apparently, yes, people do this to answer that. However, it seems like the FMCSA, because of fraud, is going to start cracking down on those virtual offices. So be careful. I don't even know. You have to have a physical address. Legally, you do have to have a physical address, but at the same time, I don't know how that works with owner operators who are a one man or one woman show, work constantly, live in their truck, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Are you still coping in California, or have you finally moved to Texas? I'm still coping, barely coping in California. I cannot move yet because of family. Family is my number one priority. My grandfather is here. He cannot move because of his age, and I refuse to move because family is important. Do you have your own DOT authority? Yeah, we're a carrier. I just happen to dispatch my own trucks. If you're an owner operator, do you need to have a fuel card, or can you just use your debit card? What do you recommend? If you're an owner operator, yeah, you can use your debit card, credit card. You actually, the best thing to do is depending on which one gives you more of a discount, because some credit cards have such a great cash back program that you actually end up saving more by using a credit card. Debit cards, not so much. Debit cards are also going to tap into your cash flow right away, right? Fuel happens every 2 days or so. So it's going to tap into your cash flow. With a fuel card, it acts like a credit card. We pay ours off every single Friday, every week. There are some that are prepaid and act as debit cards. But what you need to do is you need to look at, if you have a credit card versus a fuel card, does your credit card give you cash back that amounts to a bigger discount than the fuel card? This is something to always take a look at. Thank you, Snorland. Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. I appreciate your channel. Thank you so much for your support. Snorland. Snore Lord, the Metalhead Viking Caveman Trucker. I love your name. That is amazing. It makes me, now I want to watch Lord of the Rings. How my brain works. I don't trust Trucker Path. The DOT is onto that, and they change the status to closed when it's actually open. Yeah, Trucker Path. If for those of you who don't know, Trucker Path is an app that allows you to see which wait stations are open and when. And this is supposed to be reported by fellow drivers, right, who are passing those wait stations. Let me see if I can find the app. So it's interesting if the if the DOT is onto that, that sucks. But just so you guys know, if you are not familiar, let me just find a place here. For example, I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. So like these are all the wait stations. Anything red is closed, anything green is open. And then if you click on one of them, the coolest thing is like so if you click on a wait station, it tells you like it was closed a minute ago, blah, blah, blah. And if you take a look at history, you can see like historically, is it usually open or is it closed? See, so that's Trucker Path. I have a free version of it, but again, interesting that the DOT is catching on. Oops. Tony, interesting question. Uh, how do you think brokers need to work in order to be more transparent? Do you really think they are necessary? I think brokers make it more possible for carriers. I'm going to get crucified for this. Brokers make it easier for more carriers to be able to haul loads, right? Because not every person is going to be able to go out and find their direct customer. However, brokers are also notorious for, not all of them, but some of them are notorious for taking such a big margin that absolutely does not justify the work they do. So yeah, it's kind of a give and take, I suppose. Do I think they're actually necessary? No, there are only three people who are necessary in terms of moving the product from point A to point B. A shipper who has the product, a receiver who needs the product, and a trucker who actually brings the product. Dispatchers and brokers are just people who are supposed to make life easier. Quote, 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 quote. Okay, Jimmy answered. There was a question about a good carrier from east to west. Great Lakes Cold Logistics is a good east-west carrier. Reefer only, I believe. Thank you, Jimmy. Truck Stop CEO Kendra Tucker said she sometimes rides with her app users. Would you ever tag along with your employees for a delivery or two? I would, absolutely, if not for my fear of the heights. I would probably have to sit quietly in the sleeper berth, or I would have to sit with my eyes closed in the passenger seat. I am terrified of the height as it's moving. Yeah. Is it true that California is going to ban diesel trucks? I heard something about it, but I don't know too much. I will research it if you guys are interested, and I will let you know. California is always trying to make life more difficult one way or another. My little question is getting lost in the comments. I'm sorry, Daystroy. Do you have a CDL? No, I do not have a CDL. I thought of getting one, and then I actually sat in a semi truck with my business partner. And as he was driving, I nearly had a heart attack because I have a height issue. And I said this once before. It's interesting that I have this issue with heights because I'm a rescue diver. And when you dive, obviously, you have the abyss below you. I'm not afraid of that, but I'm afraid of sitting so high up in a semi truck. I don't know what it is. What do you think about the new Volvo VNL 860 2025 compared to Cascadia? I'm not familiar with that Volvo. I know there is the 700 something Volvo. It has a smaller turning radius, but we have been with Cascadia, Freightliner Cascadia. It has been wonderful. It does tend to start having transmission issues at 400,000 miles. However, Freightliner is one of those trucks. It's easier to there are a lot of service centers, at least from our experience. I do apologize if you hear my little one screaming and yelling. Actually made the live stream. It's probably no killer for cash. It's not about to be over. We're still here. We're having fun. I was just testing out the StreamYard. And now I can actually highlight your comments and everyone knows what I'm answering, and I can share my screen for market updates. So pretty cool. I just booked a load over $2 per mile for the first time since I can remember. It's from Tennessee to North Carolina. That is amazing. Only Alex, can you remind me what kind of equipment do you run? Because I did realize a lot of people are saying that the market is picking up right now seasonally, and something that everyone is really excited for is that seasonality is starting to look like seasonality. So it is interesting. I'm also realizing for flatbeds, even though seasonally, flatbeds are not really in demand right now. It's not easy to book loads, but it's easier, just a smidge, a millimeter easier than about a month ago. But you do usually end up in a bad area, and then you rely on luck to hoping that there's going to be that next load that's going to get you out of the bad area. This is what I realized. Where can I get DBA? I'm having a brain fart, ST. What is DBA? Doing business as. You don't have to. So when you're doing, like when you're opening a company, if you're a sole proprietor, you can either do it under your name or you can do a DBA. This usually happens during the company formation stage. What happened? Mm. Have you experimented with Python coding and SQLite databasing towards optimizing some of your dispatching tasks? So Fido Lost, I love this question because yes, I have not dabbled in Python. I have dabbled in JavaScript, and then I was dabbling in something else. My brain, I wanted so badly to learn coding because I feel like that's where the future is. My brain would just not process it. I could not do it. I could, like, to a certain point I understood it, and then funny thing, even though I find myself to be a very logical person, the logic that the computer understands is not the logic that I understand. So I had a very hard time with the if statements. There was some other thing. Oh my God, I could not do it. And I have a whole notebook somewhere full of code as I was trying to learn it, but I failed. You know, it's not my strong suit. Coding is just, I don't get it. Terry Fisher, rate per mile for box trucks depends on the market, usually around $1.75 to $2.50 and up. Thank you. And that was an answer to a question about the box trucks. Toon World. Let's get from 2025. Let's get all these illegal immigrants out. You have two guys under one license. What a shame. Yeah, I have seen, not I have seen, but my business partners were telling me about some crazy experiences, but I'm not going to comment on anything political. ST, yep, I answered your question about DBA doing business as, correct? Thank you, Jimmy. Miranda, I think you're spending too much time in the office. You might need some sun. I can't tell where you're. I have always been very fair-skinned. Here, see, it's also the light. I have always been very fair-skinned. I cannot be in the sun too long. I'm actually not allowed to be in the sun too long. I have beauty marks everywhere, even like you will see like here. I have them all over. So yeah, for me, it's not a good idea to go out in the sun. Motive selling me on ELD and Dashcam $90 per month seems high. What do you think? The last time I checked, I mean, they might have increased their prices. We paid 75, I believe. They are open to negotiating, just so you know, just negotiate with them. What are your predictions for 2025? My predictions for 2025 is it's going to be a hell of a ride. In terms of which way it will go, I don't know. Again, it all depends on how people react to the new policies that come with the new administration that's going to be in office starting January 20th. How the business sentiment will be, how the consumer sentiment will be, what is going to happen with capacity. There's so many factors that could affect 2025 that I think it's too early to tell. Do you update your dispatching course? If yes, when and what has been updated exactly? The last time I updated, I mean, this dispatching course is not really something you can update. It's mostly about negotiation and market, but there was an update I did about a year and a half ago regarding how to find clients. Yes. I use a virtual office when I apply for my authority. Supposedly, now FMCSA lets you use your home address too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering how they're going to. I mean, I know there was supposed to be a crackdown on the virtual offices, not that they would close them. It was just supposed to be something that would raise red flags and cause the FMCSA, ouch, to look into it. I don't know if that started happening yet, though. Highway blacklists MC with virtual office, lists as potential double broker company. See? Yeah. Highway is interesting. Everyone today, I mean, I was booking a load with a broker that we have worked with and had to get reset up through Highway. Every broker seems to be using Highway now. It's quite interesting and they really rely on it. Hi, CA. I don't know if it stands for California or, but hi, CA. David, I use the RTS fuel card. How do you research brokers? Excellent question. So, what I do is, first of all, now that we factor our loads, I my primary like point of checking is through RTS. But something that I also do is on truck stop, you can actually see if they have had any non-payment issues. I always double check because sometimes what you'll find is a broker that seems to be okay, but then the email, and it's a big broker, but then the email ends in Gmail. So what I do is when I call on the load, find out about the load, I will usually find the safer website phone number, call them and ask them if this is an email that is associated with their company. Because something that I know is that there are some scammers who somehow log into a big broker's account and then post loads and sell loads that are not actually that don't actually belong to that big broker. So whenever I see a Gmail account for a broker, I need to double check. I check everything. I have been, I have had a situation where a big broker ended up being some jackass who scammed us. Yeah. Do, 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 do. Yeah, Texas is one of the places I would want to possibly go to, but it's not the only place. Another place that I'm looking at is Utah. I I am the kind of person, there are different people, they are like, how do I say it? Different people feel peace in different areas. Some people need the ocean near them, some people need something else. I need mountains. I need to see mountains. Otherwise, I become a mess. I use my Shell Fleet card if it gives me somewhat of a good rate. Oh, cool. Shell Fleet card. I've heard of them. I think when we were just starting, they were calling me. um, so let's see. There we go. Um, I use Trucker Path and have the diamond package. I love it. Yeah, Trucker Path is pretty cool. I used to use it before I figured out the way to use Google to find repair places, like when we would bust a tire or the tire would go flat in the middle of Nowheresville, Nevada, I would use Trucker Path. Um, High property taxes in Texas, Oklahoma is better. Yeah, nothing beats California property taxes. um, Oh, interesting. Just a heads up to all owner operators, DAT will be canceling your subscription if you do not have your own authority. That is interesting. So it's not just a heads up to owner operators. This is also a heads up to dispatchers because DAT used to give dispatchers without an MC number or a DOT number access to the load board. So I guess, yeah, interesting. Hi, Stravos. Do I have any more Coke left? No. Hmm. I honestly don't think there's a penalty for bypassing wait stations. I have never seen officers chase anybody down. I have heard of it wasn't for our company, but I have a friend who, funny thing, we kind of lost touch for a while. And then when we got in touch again, she is like, I have a trucking company now. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Me too. But she operated Hotshot. Yeah, so I have a friend who was telling me that, yeah, they do chase people down sometimes. She's no longer in the industry though. Trucker path is somewhat accurate. It depends on how many drivers report if it's open or closed correctly. Correct, exactly. Only Alex. Do you still think we'll be in the same market conditions in 2025? If so, do you have a plan of how you will work on it? So I think the market conditions, from what I have read, okay, so what I see, again, the data, it doesn't always coincide with the experiences, right? From what I can see, the market is getting a little bit, tiny bit better. But then again, it is the end of the year, holiday season. So yeah, that might last only until the end of the year. I think the market is going to become maybe a little bit more manageable in 2025, depending on what manufacturing does. If it stays the same, then it's just a question of continuing to cut expenses for us. And yeah, just cutting expenses, that's all you can do. The best thing you can do when the income side is just not moving in the direction you want, you start looking at your expenses and you start trying to adapt. Um, that's what we have been doing, trying to adapt to the market, trying to see what do we actually need, what do we not need, what's just, yeah. I'm hoping that starting next year, we're going to start expanding, but it's a wait and see moment. Yes, DAT bought trucker tools. What is your thought on this? I started reading about it. I didn't finish the article. Uh, that the first thing that came to mind, the last live I did, I was saying, stop posting your trucks. Brokers do not need to see where the trucks are. And someone is like, well, everyone should stop. Also, once they deliver a load, they have to turn off the tracking. Otherwise, brokers see everything. I think DAT bought trucker tools, if I'm not mistaken. Part of the reason is to get an idea of where the trucks are. So, yeah, I don't know. DAT is also under fire from freight waves right now. Something about their agreement, but I need to look into that. Henry, like TQL. What's like TQL? Yeah, TQL is, we don't work with them anymore. I love how Google Maps tells you where the cops are sitting and waiting at. Really? Only Alex, I didn't know that. I know that Waze, is it Waze? Yeah, Waze does tell you that. Google Maps, I didn't know. CB radios are free airtime and everybody hears or they don't. Just saying simple things getting forgotten. How many years are you in the trucking industry? How old are you? I'm in the trucking industry for 5 years now, since 2019. In terms of how old I am, old enough to have started getting gray hair. I run under another authority and would use DAT to view the loads, then send to my dispatcher for broker approval. Yeah, A lot of folks do that. I think that's also good. The gentleman I was talking about, my favorite team member, I don't know if it's right to even say that. He didn't have a load board subscription, but he used to check through our fuel app because RTS also has Ryan Transportation Services. The loads he used to check um, through the fuel app, the loads, and he's like, but there's this good load, there's this good load. Yeah, I remember that. Um, Do you know the app where you can find trailer within US for rent? A lot like that. Didn't fully understand your question. I think Coop it's part of Ryder. There are folks that rent out just the equipment, all types of equipment. We also rent our trailers, but we rent from TNT. Thank you, Terry. Brokers, I am so behind. Wow, I am so sorry. Brokers make life easier for the shipper, and as a side benefit, the carrier. They work for the broker. They don't take anything. Paying. They're the paying customer. Yeah. So brokers are actually that's very true. A lot of shippers they don't want to deal with vetting carriers. They don't want to deal with finding trucks, and they don't want to deal with check calls. So yeah. Thank you, CA. I appreciate it. It's okay. I'm afraid of depths. I could never be a diver. Heights don't bother me though. Yeah, see, different people. Like depth. Funny thing is, no, depth bothers me. If I'm on the surface, like I would not be able to even snorkel, I would say, in the middle, I mean, in a place where it's deep. I would not be able to. But diving, I feel like I'm in control. Yeah, interesting. Have you ever used the app Truck Smarter for factoring loads? I have not. No. Which agent do you suggest for insurance new carriers? Too much asking Progressive and Geico. We have 53-foot dry vans. So it depends on where you are. I heard that Geico started insuring commercial vehicles in Florida. Progressive is an interesting one. They are very, very finicky. They can drop you within a second. So, yeah. Prime insures new carriers, but they are expensive. And then one thing that I recommend for all of you guys to do, if you're a new carrier, especially with a new CDL, try to find agents who represent insurance carriers who are trying to break into the US market. That's how we got the first year that we were in operation. Obviously, it was a different time, 2019. My business partner was a new CDL holder. We had a new authority, new DOT number. We were brand new. And the reason we got a quote of 20 something thousand per year, which was significantly cheaper than anyone else, is because it was through Trisura, which was rated an rated brokerage. So brokers, A-rated insurance company. So brokers would work with it, but it was a Canadian insurance company that was trying to break into the US market. So be sure to ask your agents, do you have any A-rated insurance companies that are trying to break into the US market? Because they will usually set their prices lower to be more competitive. For those of you who are looking at Trisura, Trisura is no longer insuring new folks because they have been burned. Miranda, I drive a 2024 Peterbilt with a 2023 trailer van. That is amazing. I've never we have no experience with Peterbilts. But yeah, Peterbilt. Factoring loads or just viewing the loads? Didn't understand your question fully. Are automatic transmissions worth it? It seems they lead to electrical problems, etc., versus manual where but you barely have any issues. Mm, yeah, I'm not. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Are automatic transmissions worth it? You're asking a person. Well, number one, I don't have a CDL, but number two, I have never learned to drive manual. I mean, I tried, but it was so bad that when I was taking courses to learn to drive a manual, I got stuck on an intersection, and there were a group of boys that were just laughing at me because I couldn't get the car to go, which made me nervous. Anyway, it was terrible. Aye. Manual transmission is only good as the last driver grinding gears that drove it. Okay, there we go. What do you see as the biggest problems in our industry, and what do you think the solutions are to those problems? That is a loaded question. It depends on which side of the industry you're looking at. If you're looking at the freight market and in terms of the free market and the rates you can get, I think the biggest issue right now is a capacity problem. It's not a problem with volume. Volume, it kind of mimics what's happening in the economy, right? But the capacity issue is a big problem. There are just too many trucks. Now, if you're looking at the broader scale, trucking industry overregulation is a huge issue. I think that the government is already, I mean, it's suffocating. And like I said in one of the videos, it seems like they pass more regulations in order to ensure that there is no way for anyone to operate. It's not just the trucking industry. Trucking, it just seems is overregulated or super regulated, right? Compared to other businesses. That it seems like the government is just trying to find ways for businesses not to be able to operate without breaking some law or regulation or rule somewhere so that the government can collect fines. So I find regulation a huge issue. I also find it an issue in the trucking industry that carriers, even though the FMCSA oversees brokers, carriers, the whole logistics pretty much chain. Carriers are the only ones that the government over enforces the regulation with, even though carriers are just one piece of the supply chain. And very often, what I see, it's a choice, especially in a market like this. Do you follow the state rules or the federal rules, or do you follow the rules of the broker? And if you don't, are you going to get a freight card, or are you going to get caught by a DOT officer? It's just too much. Yeah. Sorry, that was a long-winded answer. You should try AI for coding. I had the exact same problem trying to code. Yeah, so here's the thing. AI, I don't really use ChatGPT. I don't use AI. I feel I'm not okay, don't, for those of you who do use AI, please don't think that I'm talking about you. It's just for me personally, I feel like I'm cheating. I feel like I need to be the one to figure it out without any help. And that also comes from the fact that I'm one of those people who unfortunately doesn't follow the work smarter, not harder rule of life. I do the opposite, which is completely stupid, but that's just a personality thing. You might be a vampire. Maybe. Never know. um, I got Motive dual side and ELD 60-month 8 units devices included in 1 year term. Best way to research brokers, using the load board, depending on which load board you have. If you have DAT, you can see their broker history, but that will give you the overview. And then you have to cross-check with the safer website. Cross-check the phone number, cross-check the email, just to make sure that you're not dealing with some fraudster. 30 LD, 30 dual side cams. I just signed up with them November sale, just negotiated. They started at 75. Yeah, that's what I remember. So Motive is actually very open to negotiating if you push them hard enough. The tanker industry is a totally different animal versus reefer, van, and flatbed. No one talks about the redheaded stepchild. Yeah, no one talks about tanker. I'm sure there are YouTube channels that focus on tankers. I'm not familiar, to be quite honest. And unfortunately, the data that I look at, because I'm also not really, we're flatbed only. So, yes, I have experience with reefers and dry vans, but not hands on experience right now, because hands on experience is with flatbeds at the moment. But I have not found any tanker data on the in the resources that I have. If I do, I'll be more than happy to share it. Good idea to haul oversized load. Yeah, if your insurance allows it, yes, it is a good idea because the permits they cost. I mean, usually oversized loads pay pretty well, and the cost of permits is justifiable. So yeah, just be careful of what kind of oversized, because if you go too oversized, then it will take you, instead of 2 days to deliver a load, it will take you a few weeks, because there are limits on when you can drive depending on what size. Sometimes you need escorts and so on and so forth. Mhm. I was using Garmin ELD for years because there is no monthly cost, but it is not compatible with the new damn highway system. And I was losing loads. After much research, I decided on Motive. Yeah, we have the Garmin GPS. It's unfortunate. Highway really is, they're very strict about it. Axle Logistics, or whatever the hell their name is, they are very, very strict on the ELD has to be connected to highway. I'm paying $50 per month for a year with no motive, no dash cam. Got it. Have you, just for next time, try to see if there is any discount you can get if you pay annually, just once a year, because sometimes they'll give you a discount for just paying everything up front. Steve, I answered your question already. Um, what do you think about using SaferWeb to check on brokers? Definitely a good idea. No, I am not Russian. I have said this a million times. I am half Ukrainian, half Georgian. I'm from Utah and I love it. Yeah, Utah is absolutely gorgeous. I have never been to Utah. I am planning to take a road trip there. Um, love, love the way, at least from the pictures and the videos, it's beautiful. I would pay for a course in starting your own business if you taught it, because at least you know what you're talking about. I do have a course on how to start your authority, and get all the necessary permits. Yeah, I enjoy trucking through Utah. Yeah, one of my guys is delivering in Utah, Salt Lake. Although the loads from there for flatbeds leave much to be desired. See, I just said that Reno, Salt Lake are nice, lots of freight. Yeah, lots of freight for reefers, if I'm not mistaken. Reno, Nevada does have freight for flatbeds, although you have to search a little bit to find something that's decent paying. Uh, Thank you. What tune? What tune? uh, Look out for the domains regarding scammers. They buy domains similar to Big Broker to be more sneaky. Yeah, 100%. There was this gentleman who emailed me, just from YouTube, and he told me that there's Best Bay Logistics, and he got an email from Best Bay Logistics LLC.com. So they are sneaky. Just you have to double check everything. Hey, because of taxes, don't move to Texas. It's going up rapidly here too. Don't think we don't pay tax here in Texas. Yeah. No, I love Texas. I've never been. It's my favorite state for some reason. I don't know why, but I do love Texas. I um I did some research, and as far as I know, it's a little bit humid there. I don't do very well with humidity. I think that it's going to have to be Utah or Idaho. I was looking at Nebraska at one point, but there they have also some crazy tax. I don't know. Diet Coke is my jam too. I love it. I have a problem though. I drink, I mean, I'm not going to show you my trash can, but I have two cans right now here. I I drink it more than I drink water. I'm really, really bad with Diet Coke. Thank you, Sir Sweet, for your support. How am I supposed to build a relationship with brokers and shippers if I'm using a carrier's MC? Wouldn't that carrier take the reputation I've built with them? As a dispatcher, you mean? Yeah, from on one hand, yeah. You could always, I don't know how it works right now with all this fraud freaking out. Everyone is so afraid of fraud. I don't know how it works right now, but perhaps you can say, hey, I have other carriers as well. I don't know how that would work. Every broker is so jaded right now with freight fraud that's even saying I am a third party dispatching provider, they'll start thinking that, I mean, yeah, you can still build a reputation because if you have your email, just they'll be asking you. Yeah, I don't know. That is a loaded question. Can anyone help me out here? How are you supposed, if you're a dispatcher, how are you supposed to build a relationship with a broker if you're using a carrier's MC? I have built a reputation, a really great reputation with TQL. They ended up screwing me over anyway, but um, I am operating under my own MC. No. Guys, just so you know, I'm just going up to find the comments. And I'm coming across some just for the future. I'm coming across some comments that are shady, are very inappropriate. I do, if something is inappropriate, you can do hate comments, you can disagree with me, whatever. The moment you're being inappropriate, my kids watch this channel. I am banning you and deleting all your comments. I don't ask for much, but I do ask to keep it PG, more or less. Oh, yeah, Diet Coke is my jam too. That was the comment. Yes, I love my Diet Coke. I order 24 cans every 2 days or so. I'm not the only one drinking them, but yeah, I have a problem. um, uh, Stas Maximov, the industry. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I need folks like you. You guys teach me every day as well. Hi, Sir Sweet. See, I'm so behind on comments. Have you ever tried Coke Zero? It tastes a lot better than that flat Diet Coke you're drinking. It's not, well, now it's flat. It's actually empty at this point, so I need to throw it away. I hate flat soda. I hate soda except for Diet Coke. I have not tried Coke Zero. Yeah. I've tried Sprite Zero or Sprite, whatever the heck it is without sugar. It was not yummy. um, LTL freight has collapsed for the next 2 months, running empty from Colorado Springs to Memphis, then probably empty home to Atlanta. Big E. Yeah, I read that LTL freight is having a hard time at the moment. Wayne Waze, you mean, is gold, but police also use it and move. Yeah, of course. Well, when you think you're the smartest person in the room, think again, right? um, be careful of Google Maps telling you where the cops are. Cops can also report that they're not there as well. Yep. Okay. Doing this. Okay. Yay. I always enjoy when freight brokers actually join the conversation. As a broker, I believe the missing element in the spot market is adding accessorial fees so each load rate is broken down so carriers are paid for extra services performed like rail, LTL, and ocean. I think accessorial fees are missing definitely. It's really, really difficult lately to get tono or detention or whatnot from a lot of freight brokers. Although, again, I was presently pleasantly surprised a few weeks ago. Yeah. Sometimes you come across like a broker that is so fantastic and you're like, oh, brokers are amazing. And then you come across one person who screws you over and you're like, all brokers are not amazing. No, but really, it's good and bad everywhere. There are great brokers, there are not so great brokers. Yeah. Interesting question. God forbid, but what would you do for a living if trucking falls through? I don't know. I actually don't know. I think I would always stay if I think I would always stay in this industry, no matter what, in one form or another. I always say this industry is the love of my life, even though it's driving me crazy. But this industry is the love of my life, in all honesty. Oh no, Fido, this is not a question for me. Okay, FB, Meta AI, or ChatGPT could help with the JavaScript experiments. No, I don't understand coding. um, nice to watch you again. Thank you for the job you've been doing. Question: how accurate do you think DAT displays rate per mile for every single trailer type? So recent $2.38 for flatbed is a true value. I think from their system, yeah, it's more or less from their averages. If you look at truck stop, it's going to be different. Right. The problem with those averages is it depends on who's using the load board and how many. Yeah, it's always going to be skewed one way or another. It's not going to be a completely true number. Pardon me. My okay, that's done. Sorry guys, one moment please. No. Sorry. Trum. What the heck? My apologies, folks. Bear with me for just one moment, please. No, okay, good. All good. Um, I lost my place. Got earthquakes? Not recently, not that I have actually felt. How can I get carrier lease agreement document? Do you have any for sale? I do not. But if you do a Google search, it's going to show you some examples for sure. Since you're based out in California, have you ever thought of moving somewhere else in order to get cheaper insurance? And how do you deal with brokers who don't work with Cali carriers? You're probably asking. Yes, I have considered moving out of California. It's still a plan of mine. Um, in terms of moving, I really want to go to, it used to be Texas, but the weather, I don't know if the weather would work for me. I'm looking at Utah, I'm looking at Idaho. In terms of how do you deal with brokers who don't work with Cali carriers, I ban them in my black book. Very simple. We built a pretty decent reputation. We've been in business for 5 years, right? We have a pretty good record if they are not working with us just because our address is California. It's their loss, not mine. Yeah. I would be interested. Oh, would you be interested in having a sit-down panel discussion sometime in January to talk about trucking as an owner operator? I would love to, but my time just doesn't permit because everything I'm see, it's a very there's so many things I would love to do that I just cannot do right now because I have my kids, I have my family, I have this work that takes up pretty much the majority of my time, have an audit coming up in January, I have YouTube that I really, really enjoy. It is a hobby, but I really enjoy. I have so much going on that whenever I do have a free moment, I usually spend it with my little ones. But maybe in the future. What was the reason that made you decide to get your own authority? My family pushed me into trucking, and we just started with our own authority right off the bat. It was not a question of I used to dispatch for someone else or something like that. We started with our own authority, and my family wanted to be in trucking. And I was supposed to just help them get set up and then do my own thing, which was recruiting for fashion brands at that time. But then as I was going through the formation process and as I was learning about the industry and annoying everyone at the FMCSA with my questions to the point where I'm sure there was a gentleman named Jesus who had a photo of me printed out saying, do not answer her phone calls. I really am good at annoying people with questions. But as I was learning about it, I really started enjoying it. And I think the moment then it became something like, okay, it was fun. I was learning something new, booking loads, learning different market areas. And then when I started with YouTube and I started learning things rapidly about the market to be able to regurgitate them on video, when you teach, you learn. I just, yeah, and this industry is the love of my life. Interesting. And I went completely off topic. Thank you so much. It is sure, Mike. I'm just going to skip over a couple of questions because I'm running a little bit behind. Just the ones that are similar to the ones I answered. Uh, I answered this question. How do you deal with brokers who don't work with Cali carriers? I move on. But then again, I have 5 years of authority. So if you're a new authority and you find the one broker who works with a new authority and then they're like, well, you're a Cali carrier, we can't work with you. I can see how that would be a challenge. We are a 5-year carrier. So I just move on and I just make a note. I don't blacklist them, but I make a note like, do not reach out to this broker. Yeah. Uh, Thank you, Alex. I had, usually I'm very much, I don't know why this comment reminded me of this. Usually I'm very much out of energy. I'm very low energy and I'm tired. I'm usually in a really bad mood. I know that I don't really show it on video. Um, but I'm in a bad mood because my day usually starts with booking loads and you have to do all of that. But yesterday, like right now, I feel very similar. Yesterday night, something happened where I had this burst of energy and I can't even explain. I think I went mental. I woke up the whole house because I was just singing and dancing and annoying everybody who was awake. My kids woke up. Yeah, sometimes I can be funny, but usually I'm just kind of in the routine, kind of, yeah. Today I feel pretty happy. I did book 2 normal loads though. Let's see. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, killer for cash. Diet Coke is on me. Thanks for all you do. Thank you so much. And thank you for 7.77. 3 sevens. That's a lucky number. Thank you, Killer for Cash, for your support. Uh, you're my best trucking business teacher. I am happy I can help. Um, what do you think about truck stop or DAT having exclusive membership that gives carriers and brokers direct access to loads without broker middleman and char? You mean carriers and dispatchers? And charging minimal broker fee. I think that would be good. I think DAT and truck stop need to find a way to make a direct shipper load board. The problem is direct shippers don't want it. Some of them use load boards to post trucks, but I have seen a direct shipper post a load. This was a while ago. He posted a load that three other brokers also posted, but he also posted that load for a slightly higher rate. It would be awesome if there was a load board where shippers actually could post for carriers. Yeah. Please promote transparency in property broker by FMCSA. Yeah, they're working on it. Diet Coke is poison. Yes, it is, but it's yummy. Um, I answered this question about the rate per mile on DAT. I'm coming through Utah right now, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm jealous, Travis. I just, when I see the photos of Utah, those mountains, especially in the wintertime, oh my God. Uh, half Ukrainian, so you understand Russian. Yeah, I understand Russian. I also understand French. If anyone wants to. I can read French. Speaking it is a different thing. Um, oh no. I booked the worst load of my life 2 days ago, a week before Christmas. We're definitely heading into recession. So, something I just want to make note of this. Sometimes, and this is me, Miranda, the person who has a bachelor's degree in abnormal psychology, actually, but I was supposed to be a child therapist. Anyway, wrong story. Something that I noticed is psychologically, when we have a bad day, like, okay, I'm going to be talking about myself here. I don't want to, you know, generalize. If I'm having a really, really bad day, I, for example, try to not make videos on those days because I know that my perception of what is actually happening in the market starts getting skewed, and I start pulling data to fit what my perception is coming from that day. You had a really, really bad load a week before Christmas, and you're saying we're definitely headed into a recession. Just take a pause and try to see if that view is going to change next week based on your day. So it's something that I'm noticing about myself, for example, is that really my day will dictate how I see the market. So if I'm having a really bad day, I won't even do a video because I start just skewing everything to fit my perception. What advice do you have for new dispatchers? My best advice is, well, first of all, competitive pricing, but then provide services that can really help owner operators. Perhaps you can do some IFTA filing for them, tax reminders, all of those things. Give them more than just a dispatching service. Brokers should be replaced with AI. Try Coke Zero. I've turned so many people onto it. It has the carbonation I crave and it's zero sugar. Yeah. I'll try it. I'll try it. I'll try it at one point. Coke Zero is the like red can with the black writing, right? I'll try it at one point. Everyone's Coke Zero here. um, let's see. Would it be better to get my own MC as a dispatcher and not use the carrier's MC, just their truck numbers? Then you're no longer a dispatcher. Then you're a carrier, because once you get an MC, you have to have a DOT. You have to activate that MC by getting insurance, and then you're just leasing on owner operators onto your authority. You are now officially a carrier. Fuel prices are going to go up significantly in California next year. I believe you. Yep. California always finds a way to increase the price of everything. Um, so where can we see average pay per mile? Oh, can we see the true average pay per mile? The average pay per mile will change by market area, and it's going to change on a daily basis. So the best way to see the average pay per mile, like the most accurate way, is by looking at the load board on the day you're booking a load and seeing what brokers posted for. Unfortunately, that is the truest way to see what the market is doing, but it changes on a daily basis. I feel the same. I couldn't imagine a life where I'm not behind the wheel and on the road. Speaking of, my break's over. Ready? Let's go. Let's go. Idaho is the most beautiful state. I've never been there either, but it is beautiful. All right, guys, I'm going to do maybe another 5 minutes and then I must eat because I'm very hungry and I have tomato soup that's calling my name. Let's see, I'm just gonna scroll through and I shall answer some questions that are either not about trucking or something that I haven't answered yet. Um, I like this one. Another one, if you don't mind. What is the best way to explain to frustrated driver today's market reality? That is something that I have also, I've run into that. My way is approaching it with transparency. I think transparency can solve a lot of problems. It puts people on the same page. So when there was an issue at any point that no, well, we always had company drivers also. So it's a little bit different than an owner operator who really relies on those rates per mile. But we have had situations where, hey, dude, I'm so sorry, you're going to have to sit today because the market is not allowing me to book a load that's actually going to pay enough. So in those situations, I would send them a screenshot of the load board. This is the best way to get people on the same page. Yeah. I've also had a gentleman who was so deep into Facebook groups, and Facebook groups where folks were really making up stories about the market, talking about earning some crazy amounts of money. And he was so deep into it that it was very, very difficult to convince him that, hey, I'm not just lying to you. I actually cannot book you a load today because if I do, you're going to run for a loss. Right. Yeah, it's a balancing game. The best thing you can do is be as transparent as possible. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Sir Sweet. Again, for dispatch rates, I've seen rates from 2 to 14%. How do you post a fair priceless like that? Coke Zero money. um, so I think the fairest way to set a dispatching rate is not to do, I know that a lot of dispatchers do set rate, like $100 per load or something. I think the fairest way is to do a percentage of gross. So a percentage, right? I think the rates currently are around 3 to 5%. There are dispatchers or more like carriers who will collect a 10 to 15% dispatching fee, but that's really they're leasing on an owner operator and that's their fee for leasing on someone to their MC. So how do you post a fair price? First of all, do it on a percentage basis because that also it motivates also the dispatcher to book better paying loads, right? The more better paying loads they book, the more money they earn. Um, and somewhere between 3 and 5%, I think, is the going average right now. Ah, thank you. Do you have any videos of recorded calls with broker negotiation? I have some old videos where I used to record calls, but I do have one under my dispatching course where it was a broker having a meltdown. Literally, I don't have it on YouTube anymore, or I never had that video on YouTube. I already answered this question. What do you think about AI replacing brokers? I don't have any opinion on it. I think working with AI, and on one hand, it's easier. On the other hand, it's more difficult because when you're negotiating with a person, as I said before, you can appeal to their better nature. Um, yeah, it's easier to negotiate with a person than a computer. Mm, 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 mm. Abnormal dancing, singing, walking, waking up the family. Someone looks like someone's quitting smoking. I actually used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I didn't fully quit. I mean, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but unfortunately I do vape. Yeah. That addiction, nicotine addiction is still there. I have this one. I have this one. Yeah. That is hard to kick. That habit is hard to kick. I don't drink. I mean, I drink Diet Coke and coffee, sometimes water, if I remember. But yeah, my problem is the vaping. Yes, we do. Carrier needs to stick together and fight these leeches. um, correct. There's no MC for dispatching services. Yep. I just got tomato soup an hour ago. You know what's really good? If it's like the tomato soup that doesn't have chunks, like you blend it together with heavy whipping cream and everything. I make my own. I just blend everything together. It's roast bell pepper and tomato soup, blend it together, and then I take mozzarella cheese and I just dump it in hot soup, and it's so good. Do dispatch services blow your phones off the hook? Yeah. Sometimes I use them as scapegoats. Sometimes when I'm having a super bad day, they end up being my scapegoats. And then I feel very bad because these are human beings that are calling just whatever, for whatever reason. But sometimes I really lose my cool there. In real estate, you sit down at the closing table and you see what buyer pays, what seller gets, what each broker receives. Transparency. Yeah. What kind of factoring you using? Con? Oh no, I'm using RTS, Henry. I'm using RTS factoring. Do you have live dispatch training? No, but I do have a course on dispatching. It is pre-recorded, 9 hours worth of video, pre-recorded, so you can take it at your own pace. I make my own too, the tomato soup, but no cheese because it's Christmas fasting until January 7th. Got it. See, I fast for 20 hours per day. That I do. But in terms of cheese, no, I'm on a keto diet. So I eat a lot of almonds, cheese, a lot of meat. Tomato soup is actually not very keto because tomatoes themselves have sugar, but I can't help myself. Chad, thank you for your support. How many of these Indian truckers are going to get deported? I don't know. See, here's the thing. I hear a lot of folks saying how, oh, the capacity is going to leave because of immigration, right? And the new administration coming in. Here's my issue. When you When you are about to get a CDL, you need to prove that you have either a work permit or you're a green card holder or you're a citizen. So I don't know how those folks would end up losing their CDLs, right? If you're driving a commercial motor vehicle, that means you already proved your immigration status. The only thing I can think of, and again, I'm not an expert on immigration, the only thing I can think of is I believe, if I'm not wrong, and if I am, please correct me, the current administration kind of fast tracked a lot of these the immigration statuses to change to be able to work here and provided a lot of work permits. So yeah, it just depends on what happens. But currently, if you're a CDL holder, you are, yeah, you proved your status already. Where's that dispatch course? 9 hours. Where can I get it? Go to no, sorry, truckingmadesuccessful.com, and it's under the dispatching course. Yeah. Here, I'll send you guys my website. Tracking made successful. I'm having a hard time typing today. Anyway, guys, I am going to run because my stomach is being a jerk already, and I have to go, and I must eat. Hold on. Tracking made successful. Yeah, I must eat, otherwise I will faint. I do like my food. Thank you so much for joining and letting me experiment with the StreamYard. That was really fun. And I can highlight your comments, which is awesome. And I can share screens and I can do a lot of different things. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining. Bye, Alex. Only Alex. All right. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.